Hello everyone and welcome back to GoodKnit Kisses. I'm your host Kristen and today we are looking at the Flexee Loom. This Flexee Loom is super flexible and I just adore it. You could just come up with 1,000 ways of making this thing like in all these different shapes. But sending you some love here, and we're going to do an unboxing today. And so if you are new to this channel, I'm Kristen with GoodKnit Kisses, and we make videos on the knitting looms and needles and crochet hooks. And so I'm so glad that you caught us here. If you're checking us out on the replay, be sure and comment below if you want to hit that subscribe button so that you or follow and like so you can get more videos like this later. That would be wonderful. And of course, we have more information at goodknitkisses.com with things coming out and patterns on these, and there will be more patterns coming out. So today I want to jump on live with you, and as we welcome everyone coming in, of course we will have the replay later on. You're not seeing my face today because I just wanted to go straight into showing you this loom. I will answer your questions, and so be sure and ask them as we go along, and I'll try to get to everything I can, and then I'll come back and answer your questions. That way everyone's not waiting on me to say hi and, and answer those in the beginning. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to drop in and play around with this guy here. Now, I want to be real clear. So I showed it flattened out like this back here, but this is not a double knitting loom. It's not made to be a double knitting loom, although you can in very short increments, but it does a ton. It's just not a double knitting loom primarily. But you can knit in there round, you can knit flat panels. And honestly, let me grab some circular needles because I want you to see the comparison here. This is, if you're not familiar with regular knitting, or if you are, these are circular needles. Now these are interchangeable where I can change out the gauge of the needle. And then there's this really long cable here. I gotta tell you, for years and years, I have wanted to do a knitting loom, have a knitting loom that imitated the benefit that I get out of using circulars. Circular needles allow you to knit in the round and also to just work back and forth in a flat panel. It keeps everything lightweight and I can throw it in my bag really easily. But now with this Flexee Loom that was created by Renita, she has... Renita Harvey has made this alongside of KB Looms, knittingboard.com, and she has come up with this design, and there are 2 different gauges, and it's just a genius solution. I mean, I've always had in my head that I would want something like this, but now you can like take your knitting on the go and like throw it in your bag so easily. In fact, I'm going to show you where I think I'm going to keep mine. They're actually links. I'm going to take them apart and show you. I actually had created this little bag and for my notions and stuff. It's actually a pretty big bag. I haven't even put them in here. I just dumped this out from all my notions just a moment ago before we jumped on. I want to see what all fits in here. So let's see. Let me see if I can get both of these in here. I seriously have not done this yet, y'all. Now I'm keeping it intact. So let's see. Oh, I can put them both in here. I think this is going to be my new link bag. Sweet. I just got both gauges. I think what I'm going to do is I have another one made, and I might make it a my link bag or something. So anyway, okay, now that I know that there's a cool solution, I have these on our Teespring store for GoodKnit Kisses. You don't have to get one. I just honestly just wanted to see if it would fit in here because it's a giant bag. All right, so let's jump into it. Again, here's my comparison here. See how there's just a ton of room. And cable needles, you can add longer and longer cables. Like, let me show you a short one. Like here's an incredibly short one. So let's imitate it here. So these links right here, they come apart. They come undone. Really easy. And I can take off an individual. I can link it back up together and shrink my loom. I can take off, here, let's put this back on here. I can take off whole sections at a time and count out how many links I need and knit in the round. I can work back and forth in a flat panel. You can even choose to just work on a few stitches here at a time and link this up, and then kind of like rest part on your leg or knee or your tummy or whatever, and then have this one up. And then as you're working your stitches, you're just going along and knitting and moving them as you go. And it's really, really intuitive. It moves it when you move it. Okay, so it's so cool. Now let me get into the packaging here. Now that you've seen it kind of moving around, let's go look into. I'll move all this stuff off the screen. We're going to jump into. Let's open the big one here. Okay. So here is the Flexee Loom from KB. This is called Chunky. Now the measurement from center peg to center peg is 5/8. We would call that a large gauge loom. They're an easy snap design. You have the grooves in the front. The grooves can all only face one way. They're all handed that way, so there's no like, oh, I'm accidentally turning them around or anything. They have to link up with one facing that direction. It's just that when you click them together, you would want to make sure that the grooves are on the outside and not the inside. However, one quick note: if you were making one of those looms where you wanted to make the ruffle yarn stuff, you know, the little sachet yarn that people have, you could make them on this and make your little skinny little tube if you've ever seen those before, and then remove the loom later. Anyway, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. There's a million cool designs that you can do with this stuff. Let me get further in here. I'm getting distracted. Sorry. All my ideas through my head are just through the roof with this new product. I was worried about it being like too rinky dinky flexible, whatever, but it's really just not. So let's just jump in. Flexee Loom links, and we'll just open it up. This has 32 links and 72 pegs for one kit. I have 2 of each. This is my second kit to open. I'm glad that I've got 2. So we've got 4 baggies here. Okay, that's all that's in the box. Okay, so what's in there is you've got your loom tool. Okay, it has a little thumb grip thing on it. I still use my ergonomic hook. I still love that one, but this is a great one too with the little thumb grip on it. If you have smaller hands, this one works really well. Okay, so the 4 pieces that are in here, these are all slightly different than each other. Let's open this up. Oh, this is some knitting that I did on my smaller gauge one on the skinny, just so you can see that if you're wondering what's to the side. Okay, so here's our little sheet that it comes with. And we're talking about 12 rotating teal blue links. Okay, that's these right here, and they have a rounded edge. So let me open them up. Sorry for the crinkly. Some people hate it, some people love it because it's new stuff. All right. So these are rotating because they have a rounded end here. Okay. Let's just look at these. And then we have 12 rotating light blue links. That's these here. Okay. So they're rounded and they just snap together like this. See that? And then let's pull it apart. Let's do it real close. And if you look real close, some of these have numbers on them, or they all have numbers on them. This says 2, this says 7. I didn't even look at those numbers when I first did it. You could come up with a strategic plan for that, but for now, I'm not really going to address that. See how they rotate like this? Okay, they're bendy. So you could turn a corner, you know, or you can just have a link that sort of moves around like that. Okay, and then there's this little divot here. All right. Now your plastic, I've seen some people talk about how after it's been used, it kind of wears right here. That has no effect on it working for you. Even if it rubs a little bit, it's just the nature of plastic. But it's this divot is just allowing it to slip with this little part that's inside here to pop right on easily. And then as you use it in time, it will get easier to come on and off. However, it's not going to just come apart on you as you work it. It's really a strong connection. Let's check the flexibility. Okay, here's my flexibility. Okay, if I pull really hard, it'll come off, but it's not normally going to be work like that. Let's look at this one right here, just to give a show here. Let's see. Let's see, my lighting went down. Anyway, see how it's flexible like this? But I'm pulling enough to pull it off now, but your knitting would not do that. Okay, so let's get into the next one. So what are these ones? These are straights. Whoops, just hit my camera. Sorry. Okay, this is, okay, so we have 6 straight teal blue links and 6 straight light blue links. So we have the teal and the light. So you have less of the straight ones than you do the rotating ones. Okay, see how instead of this rounded edge, you have a straight edge? Okay. And then here is the light one. Ah. Okay. So here is the straight, and then when they click together like this, you can see that it is nice and straight. It's not going anywhere. And if you wanted to turn a corner, you would need to have one of these linked up to it. Let's do this, the round to the straight. And then you turn the corner like this, okay? And pull it out like that. So one of the recommended ways to put them together is taking 2, because there's more of the rounded than the straight. If you take a rounded one and then another rounded one of the other color, then you would put a straight next to it. Let's do a straight like this one. And then grab another rounded one. Like that. And then do, oh, let's do this. Let's alternate the colors here. Then you just put this one together. Okay, well, and I'm showing it backwards here. So here's the groove here. So let's do a rounded. Let's see, we got rounded, rounded, and then we want to do straight. So rounded, rounded, straight. Rounded. Rounded. And then a straight. So this is the way you would start putting that together, and then you can link it up and have a small little loom with a chunky gauge. This is going to be a number 5 or 6 weight. Okay, this is a 5 or 6 weight yarn. And anyway, this is something that you can put together, obviously straight, if I did all these straight ones right here and just work back and forth. But like I said, if you are working with something longer like this here, let's see it in the bigger form. If I've got a really big project, like I'm going to do a sweater or I'm going to do a blanket or something, you think, oh, everything's so heavy. Well, first of all, this is really lightweight, okay? I've really enjoyed this on my lap. It's great on my wrists and my arms. I'm actually having an elbow problem right now, and I haven't been having that issue while I'm working with this loom. I was having trouble with some of my other looms. Actually, the last 2 months have been kind of hard on my elbow. So this has really been a dream. But as I'm working, I can work on just these stitches here and just yarn over, knit along, yarn over, knit along, or even if you work upside down, some people work upside down. But it's like, it just keeps going and it's just continuous, right? I'm not having to work on a loom that's like, okay, I'm here on this rigid loom, I'm working down here, okay, now I gotta turn it, do that little ends peg, come over here and do it. Like even this right now is flexing for me. And I actually just kind of use the weight. Like you could even stand in line knitting on this and it would be so simple because it's just like hanging down. It's so cool. I like, it's really cool. Hey, look, I kind of made a backwards Texas here. Okay, so here, let's make our heart. We love Flexee Loom. Okay, that's a really weird looking heart. So, all right, let me tell you a bit more about this. Let's go back to our sheet. So we have rotating, we have straight, and the straight links have square ends. They can be used to make straight sections or in conjunction with rotating links to give more structure. So let's make one of these with more straights here. Let's see, here's 2 straights. Oh, also, if you were working on something that had like 2x2 ribbing, you know, where you have 2 knits and 2 purls, 2 knits and 2 purls, you can easily identify that. You don't need any stitch markers for it. But one thing you could also do, let's say I have a stitch pattern with that's repeating every 4 stitches. What if you do this? I've got these 4, and now I'm on to where my pattern repeats. Let's do, well, I gotta do a straight. And then I wanna do these 4. Oh, I did a rounded. Look at that, I need to keep up with my pegs. Okay, so there's that. And then let's do another straight together and another straight together. And then, try this. Now I've got turn the corner. I actually turn the corner with a straight right here. Let's do another one. I'm going to make a square loom here. So now we're making a right angle here. All right, I'm going to turn the corner here. And because they don't rotate, I don't want to put it here and then rotate. I'm just going to put it right on the side like that. See that? Like that. And so now I've got 4 pegs at a time. You could even add a 3rd peg, and if you have a pattern repeat of 6, or even do 8 together. So now the straight ones will only work for so long. You would want to start putting in the rounded ones if you needed to. This loom right here, you could definitely work it like that, or you could continue in the round. And the turning of the corners does not change the gauge. So from here to here, it's exactly the same gauge as from here to here. There's no interruption. You're not going to get that weird gap or anything. It's all exactly the same. And let's continue along and finish off this loom. Let's see. Oh, that's a flexible one. That's a rotating one. I think I used the rest of my straights. Oh wait, I need my light one. That's what it was. There we go. Oh, I used the flexible one there. Oh, that's all right. Haha, I just used the flexible one here, so that'll work. That actually works just fine. I haven't even put this one together yet, so there we go. So now we have this loom here. Now, if you wanted to double knit, you can just put one piece. You would have a very small loom. You don't want very many links. I'm not sure if I have the notes here for it, but you would only want 1 link here, and you probably only want like 4 or 5 links to make something maybe like 6 inches or smaller, because there's going to be not enough rigidity to do double knitting. So it's really meant to be worked in the round or a flat panel back and forth. But look how simple that was. You can even make a totally boxed out square one too. But see, I can work with my stitch patterns that have multiples, and it's great. Now, one of the things that someone has, several people have asked is, what do you do about odd numbers? Well, if you're working flat panel, you don't have to worry about odd numbers because you can do whatever you want. They aren't going to be making, as far as I know, they're not going to be making any 1 peg or 3 peg solutions. It's not meant to do that way. It would make it more expensive. These are super affordable. They are, I believe it's $14.99 on the KB site for the chunky, and then the skinny one, this one is $12.99. These are US dollars, and those, that's a really affordable price, you guys. So, I'll get into where you can get them here in a minute. But most patterns that have the odd numbers, there's not as many, but also a lot of them that even when you have odd stitch patterns, you can accommodate and make them change in your border or other things like that to make them an even number. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. All right, let's get back into here, see if I missed anything to tell you. If you're using all links to create a circular loom, they recommend using 2 rotating links for every 1 straight link, just like I was talking about earlier, where you do 2 roundeds and a straight. You can switch the colors however you want. This will use all the links and give you a rounded shape, some rigidity. With 36 links and 72 pegs, your knitting will be approximately 36 inches wide. And they've given recommendations for knitting baby hats, child hats, adult hats, a baby blanket, just like what they talked about here, and the square weaving. So there's more information on kblooms.com. I know that Renita is making new patterns. Other people are going to be making patterns. You should know that you can remove links in the middle of your work. So like this, if you saw me earlier, I was taking off 1 link right in the middle. So let's say I wanted to decrease and I want to move these stitches outward in whatever form or fashion. You can actually move them out like this and then remove the link. Okay. And then put this back together, and then you could readjust your, stitches to however you need to. So if you need, like, put one on top of the other for an SSK or a K2 tog to make it right or left leaning, then you can readjust them after you do that. So of course with your knitting on there, you just want to be careful when you open it up and do that. Just make sure and remove the stitches that are there and move them to the next adjacent peg before you start taking it off. That's what I would do anyhow. The other thing is, you can unhook this and you could use it for helping move your cables around. I haven't tried it yet, but you definitely will have more flexibility with this loom. I know that when I had my knitting on here and I was working with these right here, these are short rows. It's super flexible. Like, well, I was using this loom here. Okay, I was using this one. And while this is like hanging off of here, I mean, I'm working back and forth. This thing was never like super overstretched. I mean, you know, knitting stretches out on the knitting loom, and you do have to, you know, hand block or block later. But it was so cool to just see it kind of moving around and flexing with the work, and it didn't ruin the integrity of my knitting. Like, my stitches, my gauge is really even. Here's another one in a solid. So you can see how nice it is. Yeah. It just works really well. Let's see, what else I need at? Look at this. Remove the empty link and reconnect. When working the next round, treat the pegs at 2 loops as 1. Yeah, it's just talking about the same thing, moving things over, increasing and decreasing. It's giving instruction on how to increase or decrease. But like I said, you can actually just move your loops over, and then once you remove the peg, you can move them how you need to, if you need to readjust depending upon your pattern. So this is just some generic information. And anyway, and then you just continue on to your next round. That's it. There's not a whole lot of instructions in the box with it, so it's completely up to you on doing other patterns. I will say any of your patterns with other looms are going to work as long as you have the right number of links, honestly. So if you want to do the smaller gauge, excuse me, this is called the skinny. This is 3/8 inch between center peg to center peg, so it's what we call a small gauge, and that includes 48 links and 96 pegs. So any design for either large gauge or small gauge that has enough, excuse me while I get rid of my trash, has enough pegs, you can work on it. So this has 72 pegs here. If you need more than that, just get another box, basically. If you want more than 96 pegs for this one, then just get another box. It's like adding on one of those cables when I was talking about the cable needle. So just keep adding to it. You've got plenty of links at your disposal. So I suggest that you get one, check it out, but you'll probably want to get two. I can guarantee you this is my new favorite loom. I always was saying that if I had to pick only one loom to have forever, I mean, sometimes people ask you that pop quiz, would be the knitting board all-in-one loom this whole time. This is my new favorite loom. I will be keeping my all-in-one loom because I can do a lot of double knitting on there. But this is, oh my gosh, like seriously, this is my new favorite. You're gonna see a lot of videos with these, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so anyway, let me see what other questions we may have. I've got to adjust my camera here so I can read your questions. It's at an odd angle for me. And then I do want to give some information that the creator gave me, Renita. Let's see. I'm gonna go to my notes if y'all can just bear with me. So I do want to go over, and then the wiggle or wiggly. It's obviously not a rigid loom and does move around, but as you do, you can put it on your chest, a pillow, or whatever. It'll move around when you move it around, or when it's touching another object or something like that. But it's not actually going to come apart from itself. I would not categorize this as rickety or anything like that. It's actually very stable. And if you've used their chunky loom set, the round ones that are rigid, it's the same. This is the same peg. So you can see that the peg size is bigger on this one on the left versus the right. So the skinny and the chunky are skinny and chunky pegs too. They have kind of a nice soft feel on the plastic. They're smooth. They're a smooth plastic. Yeah, so definitely anyone with hand or wrist issues and things like that, it would be super great for. Not designed for double knitting. Very narrow items can be done. It's not recommended for double knitting. So if you were going to do any kind of attempt on double knitting, it would need to be like, say like 3 inches, maybe 5 or 6. Let's see, the stores. Let me go back here one moment. I do have a link for Amazon. So if you'll click in the description, I have one of the links up. It is an affiliate one, just so you know. But they are on Amazon, but you can definitely get them at kblooms.com as always. And they are in Hobby Lobby stores. They are not online at Hobby Lobby, but you can walk into a Hobby Lobby store and find a box. They have been spotted there. So online, you can go to kblooms.com currently, or Amazon. So we've linked to the Amazon. And then other stores are supposed to be getting them, and I'm not really going to drop any names because we are only as of this filming today, and we're only 2 weeks out from the release, so it's been very fast, and not everything has hit everywhere yet. You'll want to check with the distributor in your country. So if you are not in the United States, you'll want to check online to find a place where you can get them. I know KB Looms does sell internationally. And if you're on Amazon Canada or something, you probably should be able to get it from there. But I know KB Looms will sell it internationally. You'll just have to check with them. And then any of the other distributors later on. It will be on, I believe it'll be on HSN, I think she told me. Let me go back and look. HSN in July. So I will kind of drop that. Hopefully that was okay for me to drop and say that. Let's see. Seriously, this is like a dream project, but I love this. It's really, really amazing. What else? What else? All right. So, I want to show you, oh yeah, here's another square I did. This pattern is not out, no. Oh, if you're going to be looking for this, tomorrow we'll be having our short row miter where we do a solid and a 2-color that comes out tomorrow, and we did use them on the Flexi Looms. You'll see it in action on that video. It comes out in the morning, and has this cool little edge detail. Look at the back, love it. I did this one on there, but the pattern's not out. This is just a little sample. I'm going to go and read your comments here. Let me go back. Follow recommendations. Oliver says, that's Elizabeth. Yeah, definitely do that. And like I said, I'm going to be keeping all my little links. So this is, these are my extra ones. I'm going to be keeping them in my little knit bag here. I don't like keep putting them back in the box. It's just easier to have it in something like this. So if you missed this bag earlier, this is a Notions bag I have, and I wanted to see what would fit. And this fits the entire loom, okay? And then it can actually fit this one too. Actually, let me see this. Someone may ask me this. That's what I meant to do. This is one set, and then I already have the other set. It's not linked up except for that one that you saw. So this one's all together. And then this one, I probably will have to break it down. So let's break it down. You can see me do that. Everybody wants to see how easy it comes out. That's it. These are so fun. Ah, they're so fun. And okay, so the pegs are not going to come out, by the way. Someone's like, they're probably going to be like, what? They're molded into this. So it's not like any other looms where the peg is removable. You can't switch the gauge on here. You can't even link these up here. I mean, I guess technically you could, but who's going to do that? Yeah, so definitely you're going to keep the like product with the light product, but these are not coming off. These pegs are stable. They're in no danger of coming off. And hey, if you need a two stitch I-cord, you could just use this. I mean, how handy is that? That's so cool. So there's that, and then we can just zip that right up, and it fits in this is my knit stuff. Fits right in there. And let's pull this out so we can see this again. Feels like pulling a snake out of a bag. This is stitch your love and love your stitches, if you're wondering what that said there. So there is that. I'm going to go back over here. Let's see if we have any other questions. Oh, Jessica says I'll pass on that loom. Yeah, it's really cool though. I just tell you, I wasn't convinced until I actually played with it, because honestly, it's something that when I saw it, it was like, I was really hopeful that it was the thing that I'd always imagined in my head to try and get close to circulars. And I thought, I don't know. I'm probably not going to like it. Not too sure on it. But honestly, I've really enjoyed it. And in fact, oh, here, and I just disconnected this part, and I'm trying to find the part where it connects. Look, you can't do it wrong, because these are the groove side, and this is not. So see how it won't go together? Just flip it around, and you're always going to have your pegs in the right direction. And then I'm just going to connect the other side, and there we go. And then you can take that and throw it in your bag with your knitting. That's really great if you're especially working on a heavy project like a blanket. You know, bags are so hard to work with looms. So now this is going to make bag buying easier for sure. So sorry, I want to put that in there so you know what we're looking at. What if the project gets disconnected while you're on it and the project falls apart, I would think. Lily, that's a great question. I'm going to be working on this. I believe the gauge is going to work. I've got to actually test it this weekend. I believe that I'm going to be working the easygoing knit sweater I just did it on needles, and I'm going to be doing it on looms, and I believe I'm going to be using this particular loom for that, and you will get to see that heavy sweater I will be making on this. First of all, it's really sturdy. I cannot imagine that this would be coming off, because I have to pull it. Like, I just pulled it. Well, it's hard to tell how much force someone's using when they're pulling it, but honestly, I had to like bend it like that. And that's because I'm holding it here. Let's see. This is a one-handed. Let's do one-handed. Now, if I pull it like that, I can do it. But I had to put force on either side. So if I'm just doing this, there, that came off. I was shaking that really hard, and it had to have the weight here. That came off with a lot of force that I was shaking it with, and it also had a lot of weight. However, if you have this in your bag, I can't imagine that that would do that, because you would have the weight of the project underneath it, and it would be in the bag, and it's not going to be open like that. So, I mean, because if I'm doing this and the thing's, you know, in there like this, all crumpled up with your project, it really can't do it. The force just doesn't work. I don't think the physics of it works like that. But I will let you guys know when I'm working with my sweater project. But yeah, it's so cool. It reminds me of those kid toys that have those little flexes when we were kids, you know, that like flipped around and made different shapes. Let's see. But that was a great question, Lily. Yeah, you don't need any stitch markers on here. However, if you do, KB has, I actually need to get it. They have these little ones that came with my basics loom. Okay. But they have like a box. Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. They have a box that has a ton of colors. So if you were to want stitch markers, you could get those. But because of all the different colors here, you can really make your own. These are like having your own stitch markers sort of built in. And like I said, you could do, if you have a 6 stitch pattern repeat, you could even help yourself by having like 3 of one color and 3 of the next color, and kind of rotate it that way. And then it kind of gives you a visual like, oh, this is where my repeat is, and that kind of thing. So if you have memory issues or things, this would be a really good loom for you. Look what it looks like on the back. Isn't that fun? All right, let me go back to some more questions. So that's these markers. Oh, I'll show you this. This is their stitch marker. This is what it fits like on top of it. So it fits easily. Let me use it on the chunky. Yep, fits easily on there too. So you could use one for your starter, just so you know where the beginning is. Let's see, what else? Too much to keep up with, Jessica says. Okay, so Jessica, I thought the same thing. So, but what I decided is I'm going to keep it together. Okay, so if I keep this together and I don't take the links apart, when I need a loom and I want to make something on it, I can just take off what I need. So let's say here's my beginning, and I'm like, okay, I need 18 stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Break that off. And now I have my loom. Okay, I have this other project, and I'm going to need, I don't know how many I've got on here left, but I'm going to need 30. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. All right, now I've got another loom. Yeah, and now I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Hey, I got a 24 peg loom. So I've actually got 3 looms out of this one. I can keep them all together until I need what I need, and then continue on my day, honestly. Instead of having to have them all separate, you know, I think it's easier too, because it's already sort of in the it's in the patterning that was recommended by Renita. However, if you want to do the special coloring, like, you know, for your pattern repeat, then you of course would need to change it up. But this would be easier for keeping up with all the pieces for sure. That would be my hack for it anyhow. Let's see, any questions? Jennifer says first time she's seeing it. That's cool. I hope you like it. Yeah, seems close to the X looms and less expensive. Yeah, if you don't know what an X loom is, the X loom is basically, you know, let's say you have a big circle. You're used to working with like a big circle loom. So an X loom is one where it's shaped in an X. So it kind of goes there, and it goes here, and here, and here, and it sort of makes an X shape, and it kind of takes the footprint of your big circle down. I actually had wondered about making a Y-shaped loom, and would a Y work, you know, like, and I thought this would be a cool loom to have. And I was going to actually propose it. And then Renita came out with the Flexee Loom. And I'm like, shut the front door. This is so much better than that. So, yeah, that's so cool. I mean, yeah, maybe if they wanted to do why, that would be okay. But this is really neat. Let me come back over here. See if we have any more questions. Definitely less expensive. Let me see. I'm going to show you the website real quick. So here it is on kblooms.com. It's $12.99 for the skinny. This is US dollars, of course. And then the chunky is $14.99. So I did quote those correctly. And there's a video on the website of how to link them up. Or of course you can see this video here. Be sure and give them comments and feedback on what you like about it. Give them a review. Nobody told me to say that, but I would say be sure and write your comments below down here. And then here's a video on here as well, just showing you what they look like. So there it is. All right. Any more questions? Oh, Legos for loomers. Lori, oh my gosh, yes, it's like Legos for loomers. Could you purl knit on these looms? Yeah, you can purl and knit. Let's see, Ellie, they fit nicely in a gallon lock, Ziploc. Each set fits in its own snack or sandwich version. Oh, yeah, you could do that. You can put them in a Ziploc with individual baggies. Yeah. Hey, Hobby Lobby has a 40% off coupon. Yes, Kess, that's right. Oh, Diana ordered hers on Amazon. Awesome. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoy them. Diana missed where to get a bag. We have these on Teespring. These are my bags that we designed. They look like big knit stitches. It just has our GoodKnit Kisses, stitch your love and love your stitches slogan. But yeah, if you want to get one, on YouTube, when you watch any of my videos, you can see pop up some Teespring merchandise. Like we've got bags, and these are Notion bags. They're like oversized Notion bags. See, they're huge. Like they're huge. And then we have like some loom bags to put your loom in or your yarn in or something. So you could even put there's another bag like this, and it says this is my crochet stuff. But you could put your links in one and put your other notions in another, and then put them in the big yarn bag. They're really actually pretty soft. There's also mugs and stuff too. So anyway, it's just the Teespring store if you want. We've got a link down below. Sharon says, I got this a week ago. I have to say, it's got a few kinks, need slightly taller pegs and rounder edges. Those are interesting. I'd have to check what she's talking about. Let me see. You're not working. It folds up easily. Carry around the store. Yeah, it folds up easy to carry around the store. I'm not sure what she's talking about, the tallness of the pegs. This is the same height of regular pegs. It's actually taller than the smaller ones, and this is the same height as their other loom with the premium chunky looms. So I don't think I would want a taller peg than that, honestly. It's got plenty of room. Let me get a larger yarn. Hold on. So here, let's go with this one. This Bernat Beyond. It's a super bulky 6. So let's look with this yarn here. Let's try it. Okay. So we'll just do a quickie loom demo here. We'll just do, see how I can flex and move it as I go. Look, I'm moving it. Look at this. That's so cool. Isn't that neat? I'm just doing a flat knit right now. I'm not trying to do anything special. Okay, someone talked about purling. I know this is my cast on, but you can purl. So anyway, yeah, and that's what the 6 looks like on it. So that's a really generous peg. So yeah, I think it's good. Let me see if there's other questions here. Love this loom. I got the 2 of the mini, the little skinny ones. Mary Lou says she was on the fence, but she's getting both gauges. I know, I had to get both gauges too, for sure. Yeah, you definitely don't have to have a large circle to carry, Sandy is saying. And yeah, you can just make it go smaller. And there's, you know, it's always been a thing. Like I don't know how many times, have y'all ever gotten to this case where you're like, okay, yay, this loom is exactly what I need. Let me count. And you double check your count and you're like, I need 4 more pegs. And you're like, crap, I have to order another loom, or I have to change this pattern, you know. Or what if you're converting a needle size and it's, you know, normally your loom would accommodate that, and then you check your gauge and you're like, oh, I need to have more stitches to make it the right size, this sweater the right size. Well, this, all you have to do is just, you know, pop it open and then add more. You don't have to stay with that rigid size anymore. You can't do that to another loom. You just can't. So the only I say you can't, unless you have like unless you have a loom that has certain add-on features like an extender rail or a slider, you can't do it. But those extender rails and sliders have a limit. This doesn't really have a limit. Honestly, it doesn't. So yeah, I'm really, can you tell I'm excited about this thing? I would also think the tension on your stitches would help hold the links in place. Absolutely. Yeah, so let's say we've already got this loaded on here. I mean, it's holding it on. And I'm not being, by the way, I'm not a super loose knitter, so I mean, I can't speak to the fact of anything falling off your pegs, but that's the same as any other tension in your loom. If you carry your loom upside down in your bag and it falls off, that's just simply due to your tension. But being a tight knitter, of course, it would keep these on here more, but they're not being held by your yarn either. But the yarn in conjunction with being linked together, I cannot see how anything would be being rickety and falling off. So, what else? I think I answered some of these questions, so I'm not going to say. Sandy says, I love the way you giggle over new product. Enjoying it. It's the little things. Absolutely, girl. Totally. Yeah, Kess, I think this would work for a 10-stitch blanket. Absolutely. You can, I mean, honestly, you can just do this and just have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I mean, you can just pull, you know, use just what you need. You know, you don't have to have all the extras. So Yeah, you're welcome for the demo. Thanks, Jan, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. Be sure and check it out. Give KB some love. They are not sponsoring this video, but they did send me these boxes. So thank you so much to KB Looms. Thank you even more so to Renita Harvey. Can we get a round of applause? Can we clap for her? Because amazing. So please share this video with other loomers so they can see it in action. I know this is a long video. Thanks for sticking it through, but you got to see all the things, and you'll see more videos of me working with this. Again, tomorrow we're going to be having the short row miters, and you can use any size. We have a chart for you, little extras. So there's actually a chart for different gauges for casting on to get different sizes. So be sure and tune in for that and get the pattern. We will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to GoodKnit Kisses. Happy looming. Bye, everyone.